A young man eager to contribute to his local church's fundraising event approached the minister and expressed his willingness to sell Bibles door to door. Despite knowing about the young man's significant speech impediment, the minister allowed him to participate and initially provided him with 3 Bibles to sell. Surprisingly, the next day, the young man returned, requesting more Bibles. The minister handed him another 5, and this pattern continued, with the minister eventually giving him an additional 10 Bibles by the end of the week. To everyone's astonishment, the young man not only participated actively, but also managed to break the church's long-standing record for the highest number of Bible sales in a single week. The minister, attributing the success to a possible divine intervention, was curious to uncover the young man's secret. When he asked about the strategy, the young man, wearing a broad smile, revealed, "I asked them if they wanted to buy a Bible or have it read to them." During his honeymoon near his beloved fishing spot, a man spent the majority of his time fishing at a lake he cherished. His favorite guide, a longtime friend, accompanied him on these fishing escapades. Observing the man's dedication to fishing during his honeymoon, the guide commented on his enthusiasm. The guide, a bit puzzled, questioned whether the honeymoon wasn't about spending quality time with the new wife. The man, admitting his passion for fishing, sighed and explained that his wife had various health issues, including glaucoma, making fishing a preferable activity. As they continued fishing in silence, the guide, attempting to offer alternatives, suggested there were intimate ways to connect without the associated risks. The man acknowledged this, but pointed out his wife's struggles with diarrhea, making fishing a more enjoyable choice. The next day, as they fished again, the guide raised the topic once more, emphasizing alternative ways to be close without the mentioned issues. Frustrated, the man explained that his wife also had chlamydia, and fishing remained his favorite pastime. Later in the day, the guide, feeling exasperated, questioned why the man would marry someone with so many health problems. The man, with a slight smile, humorously responded, "Well, it's because she's also got worms, and as you know, I just love to fish." A large number of viewers watch my videos without a subscription. Therefore, subscribe to my channel so as not to miss new videos with funny jokes. Today, a man, fascinated by the supernatural, decided to visit a well-regarded psychic in his town. Upon entering the dimly lit room, he found the tarot reader seated at a table with her tarot cards spread out. The atmosphere was eerie, with a single flickering candle casting shadows on the walls. The tarot reader, deeply engrossed in studying the cards, delivered the unfortunate news with a solemn expression. "I'm sorry, but I have to be straightforward with you. Your mother-in-law will suffer a violent and terrible death this year." The man was visibly shaken by this revelation. He glanced at the psychic's wrinkled face, then at the solitary flickering candle, and finally at his own trembling hands. Taking a few deep breaths, he tried to regain his composure, knowing he needed to find out more. With great effort, he steadied his voice and locked eyes with the tarot reader. Finally, he posed the question that had been weighing on his mind. "Tell me, will I get away with it?" In the remote countryside, where the roads were mere dirt tracks and houses were scattered miles apart, there resided a doctor known to all. He was the kind of doctor who would traverse hills and woods, day or night, to tend to the needs of those who required his care. On a particular evening, the doctor received a call from deep within the woods. A woman was on the verge of giving birth, and she urgently needed his assistance. Without hesitation, the doctor packed his bag and embarked on a lengthy journey. After navigating through the dense forest, he finally located a small house nestled among towering trees. Upon arrival, he found only the expectant mother, ready to deliver, and her little boy, who stood about as tall as the doctor's knee. Recognizing the need for light in the absence of electricity in this secluded home, the doctor swiftly devised a plan. Turning to the little boy, he said, "I need your help. Can you hold this lantern up high for me? Just like that. Keep it steady." Feeling a sense of importance, the boy tightly gripped the lantern and followed the doctor's instructions. With the makeshift lighting in place, the doctor set to work assisting the mother in bringing her baby into the world. After a bit of pushing and encouraging words, The room echoed with the sound of a newborn's cry. The doctor, ensuring the baby cried out strong and clear with a gentle tap, turned to the boy with a smile. "What do you think we should do with this little one?" the doctor inquired. The boy, who had been quietly serious all this time, pondered for a moment and replied, "Well, he shouldn't have crawled up there in the first place." At the end of an exceptionally exhausting week, a group of coal miners came to a realization about one of their team members, a young fellow named Billy. It became apparent that Billy had never experienced intimate companionship with a woman. Finding this situation in need of correction, his colleagues collectively decided that it was high time for Billy to have a memorable experience. They pooled their funds to arrange an unforgettable night for him, convincing him that it was an essential part of coming of age and a well-deserved break after their demanding work. After ensuring Billy was cleaned up from the coal and presentable, the group set off together to a well-known local brothel. The miner who usually took the lead approached the madam, explained Billy's circumstances, and handed over $100. After some light-hearted banter and brotherly advice, the group departed, leaving Billy alone to embark on this new chapter of his life. Somewhat bewildered, Billy turned to the madam, seeking clarity on the unfolding events. She gently explained that this was a special gift from his friends, and his only task was to select a lady from among her employees. Billy, feeling a bit overwhelmed but trusting, surveyed the room and eventually made his choice. They headed upstairs together for more privacy. In their assigned space, the woman turned to Billy, acknowledging his lack of experience. She encouraged him to express his desires and asked about his preferences in terms of intimacy, listing options like missionary, Greek, doggy style, round the world, and 69. Caught off guard and unfamiliar with the terms, Billy responded hesitantly, suggesting that she should choose what she felt was suitable for him due to his lack of knowledge. However, she insisted that it was crucial for him to communicate his desires. After a moment of thought, Billy recalled the term 69, and, despite being unclear about the specifics, felt it was a good choice. As they prepared themselves, the initial attempts were awkward, but after a few misguided efforts, Billy found his way and started to enjoy the interaction. However, an unforeseen interruption occurred when the woman, who had consumed beans earlier, accidentally released a small fart near Billy's face. Surprised but assuming it was part of the experience, Billy dismissed it and continued with enthusiasm. Despite a couple more fart occurrences, he remained undeterred, convinced it was all part of the encounter. However, after a more significant release from the woman, powerful enough to affect Billy physically, he could no longer maintain his composure. Gently moving her aside, he tried to keep the mood light, remarking, "I don't want you to think I'm not enjoying myself or anything, but I'll be damned if I can take another 69 of those." A middle-aged wife had just returned home on a Saturday afternoon after a shopping trip, her usual post-shopping contentment replaced by annoyance. She burst through the door, each step heavier than usual, signaling her distress. Her husband, a man of regular habits, was predictably sprawled on the couch, engrossed in a football game. Without pausing to catch her breath, the wife launched into her story, recounting an unpleasant encounter at the local department store. Seated in the shoe section, surrounded by boxes of various styles and sizes, she had inadvertently shifted into a position that made her lack of undergarments noticeable. To her shock, the shoe salesman had made an offhand and highly inappropriate remark, stating, "If that thing was full of ice cream, I'd eat every bite." Offended and embarrassed, she sought solidarity and protective outrage from her husband. However, he seemed to barely register her agitation, offering nothing more than a non-committal grunt without taking his eyes off the screen. Frustrated by his lack of response, she demanded action, raising her voice and insisting that he stand up for her honor. She questioned why he wasn't storming down to the store immediately to confront the salesman. Finally, tearing his attention away from the game, her husband met her heated gaze and spoke in a steady voice. He explained his stance, beginning with a sigh. "Well," he said, "there are 3 reasons why I won't confront the man. First of all, you didn't need new shoes. You already have more pairs than you can wear, making it an unnecessary shopping trip. Second, you have no business going shopping with no panties on. But most of all, I'm not going to punch anyone who's big enough to eat that much ice cream.